Jackie Robinson, Lesser Forgot Project by Lorenzo Briones. For my source for this project, I used the book The Team That Forever Changed Baseball in America, authors by Lyle Spatz, Maurice Bourquard, and Leonard Levin. Early life. Jackie was born on January 31st, 1919, in Clairo, Georgia. His mother was named Millie, but his father had soon left a little after he was born. Jackie was the youngest of five children, that being three brothers and one sister. A little after a year from being born, his mother had moved to Pasadena, California. Growing up in Pasadena, Jackie was able to see his older siblings excel in sports. His older brother, Mac, excelled in track so much that he went to the Olympics in 1936 and won a silver medal in the 200-meter dash. Since Jackie grew up seeing his older siblings excel in sports, it was only natural for him to start playing sports when he went to high school. In high school, Jackie played sports like football, baseball, tennis, and basketball. At already such a young age, Jackie was already having to deal with racism all throughout high school. Most of his teammates were white, and with him being black in an almost all-white school, Jackie on and off the field was being treated as a second-class citizen. Jackie enrolled at UCLA in 1939 and excelled on the field in football, basketball, track, and field, but not so much in baseball, which is really surprising knowing what he would do later on in that sport. According to the UCLA school website, Jackie's batting average was a 0.97, which is really bad. But even though he struggled at the plate, he still remained on the lineup due to his quick decision making and quickness along the base path. Even though Jackie struggled on the baseball field, football and track is where he excelled at UCLA. Jackie was a star in football. In 1939 and 1940, he led the nation in punt average returns. In 1940, he led the UCLA Bruins in passing yards, rushing, and scoring. Jackie is one of four African American players on that team, making it the most integrated major college football team at the time. That team also went on to be undefeated with 6 wins and 4 draws. Robinson also excelled greatly in track and field. Although he didn't miss most of his track season due to baseball, that didn't stop him from excelling from the sport. Robinson went on to win the Pacific Coast Conference and NCAA titles in the long jump, as you can see in this picture. Many people even speculate that if the 1940 and 1944 Olympics had not been canceled due to the World War II, Robinson would have likely competed. In 1942, Jackie Robinson was drafted into the military, to a segregated cavalry unit in Kansas. You would think that even when you're serving your own country, you would gain at least some respect. But Robinson was still facing discrimination along with other colored soldiers. Later in his career, in 1944, he was confronted on the military bus and was asked to move to the back. That was a little historical foreshadowing right there. After he refused to go back, he was taken into custody and eventually was transferred out of his unit. After he was transferred out, he then joined another military unit, but was court-martialed after false accusations by the prejudiced officer and jury that confirmed his removal from the military. Soon after leaving the military, Jackie Robinson began to play professional baseball for the Kansas City Monarchs. The Monarchs were part of an all-black baseball league. Even though Jackie struggled in baseball in college, he became excellent at shortstop and hit for an average of .387. While Jackie was playing for the Monarchs, he was approached by Branch Rickey, who was the general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Branch was wanting to sign an African-American player to help the Dodgers win the pennant. Branch told Jackie that he would face all sorts of racism. Jackie, already being so used to it, agreed to Branch's deal and was later signed to the MLB. In his first season, Robinson played for the Montreal Royals, which was a Dodgers feeder team at the time. Robinson's presence at the training camps raised racial animosity with local police chief, who would threaten to cancel games. After many canceled games and stadiums shutting down out of nowhere, during all of this, Rickey lobbied extensively and arranged for an exhibition game for Robinson to make his debut. On March 17, 1946, Jackie Robinson played for the first time in an exhibition game that was between the minor league Montreal Royals and the Major League Brooklyn Dodgers in Daytona Beach, Florida. On April 15, 1947, Jackie Robinson made his first ever Major League debut for the Dodgers at Ebbets Field with a crowd of 26,623 people. Robinson's arrival was actually welcomed by many of the press, but even some of his own teammates showed their prejudice towards him. Some of the white players didn't even want him in the dressing room, or better yet, even want to play with him. The Dodgers stayed true to Robinson, and the Dodgers management made it clear that if the players did not want to play with Robinson, then they would simply just be traded out. Robinson's first year were hard, and he was a victim of racial insults on and off the field. Some people in the crowd would throw water bottles at him, and the opposing team would make very aggressive plays towards him, such as bumping into him and using their spikes and their cleats to hit his leg. Through all these circumstances, one event that helped unite the Dodgers would be when the Philadelphia Phillies manager would call Robinson the N-word and told him, quote, "Go back to the cotton fields." Eddie Stanky, a local Dodger teammate, stepped in and tried to stop the abuse, showing his respect and animosity towards Jackie Robinson. Even through all the hardships Jackie went through, he still had a successful first year and was elected the Major League Rookie of the Year. In 1948, more African-American players were inspired by Robinson and were being signed by Major League clubs as well. With more people of color joining the major leagues, there was a slow yet gradual acceptance of players of color. As the later seasons progressed, Robinson was able to focus more on baseball, and by 1950, he was the highest paid Dodger player. In that same year, he starred in a film about himself called The Jackie Robinson Story. During the 1950s, Robinson played a key role on the field and led the Dodgers to win 6 national pennants. And in 1955, the Brooklyn Dodgers won their first World Series, beating the New York Yankees. 2 years later, in 1957, after winning the World Series, Jackie Robinson retired. Robinson strived to increase opportunity for Black Americans. He helped found the Freedom National Bank, a Black-owned bank that was located in Harlem. Robinson was also very politically active and strived to see equality for every American. It was actually also seen in a lot of MLK rallies. On October 24th, 1972, at the age of 53, Jackie Robinson died of a heart attack at his home in Connecticut. Just 9 days before he actually died, he was seen making a star appearance at the World Series. After his death, his wife Rachel founded the Jackie Robinson Foundation, which offers scholarships, awards, and higher education to help bridge equal opportunities for every American. On April 1977, the Major League Baseball Association retired Robinson's jersey number 42, and every year on April 15th marks Jackie Robinson Day. Jackie Robinson not only revolutionized sports, but America as a whole. He broke the color barrier in sports and shaped the way we see sports today. His legacy that he not only left in baseball, but also his impact on the American society, it wanted true equality for every American, no matter what color you are. Thank you.